Hello and welcome back to Warcraft Daily for today, the 4th of the 4th of February 2014. I'm really not doing dates too well these days. Anyway, so in today's news we have a few different items. First of all, they highlighted some raid plans they have for the Warlords of Draenor launch, then some patch 5.4.7 warrior PvP stuff, finally the Blizzard store, and then we're going to round it off with a few tweets. So first of all, plans for raids. Well, there's actually a really interesting tweet from Watcher. Basically, he confirmed that Siege of Orgrimmar is going to be converted into one of the new Warlords of Draenor style raids. That means that it will have a normal mode, a heroic mode, and a mythic mode, with normal and heroic being flexible, and then mythic being 20 players only, and essentially very much heavily designed to work with 20 players. Apparently, he said that more information is coming soon, though this is probably the main headline since retrofitting flexible into Throne of Thunder or something like that would probably take up far more, way more work hours than are, needed, and also that it's probably best just to put most of the work into the next expansion. In terms of some concerns about it just not really being a worthwhile thing to pursue in terms of time, he said that he's doing it personally and it will not affect the Warlord's schedule. He also said that it should be very useful because they'll be able to test this system early, possibly just during the 6.0 systems patch that will be a little bit before Warlords of Draenor happens. Overall, I think this is a very good change, and it's nice for players to be able to experience some of these new systems a little bit before the expansion. If maybe, I don't know, heroic guilds that are waiting to do mythics, well, perhaps they can start editing up their rosters and trying to make things work. In case you're not aware, by the way, our normal, what we have in the minute is flexible and normal. They are now being replaced with normal and heroic, respectively. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let's move on to some patch 5.4.7 stuff. So first of all, this is to do with warriors, but it does affect everyone in PvP. They have changed warriors so that Disrupting Shout and Pummel now share a 15-second cooldown. If you're not aware, they are both interrupts. Or are they silences? One of the two. Yeah, interrupts. Anyway, so Disrupting Shout has got a 40-second cooldown, as always, but it just can't be used within 15 seconds of Pummel, and vice versa. Pummel still has its regular cooldown. Basically, they're changing this because they feel warriors just have too many options in terms of disrupting. You may, of course, have heard that there was also a change to charge. They were basically going to make it from a stun into a root. The root would mean that, of course, casting could still happen. This has actually been reverted as they think it's too large of a change for 5.4.7, but they are still looking at changing charge in the future, possibly with Warlords of Draenor. If they are changing it, Warlords is when it makes the most sense, because generally in an expansion that's when players expect there to be a lot of changes. So what do I think about this? Well, I understand what they're doing. Disrupting Shout is very powerful, but this nearly comes down to a problem with healers for me. I find that when I'm in arenas or I'm in battlegrounds, it doesn't matter how many different interrupts and things I have, it's just the fact that a healer is there, unless you're in something that is 3v3 or 5v5, or if you are in a battleground, people are actually focusing probably in a healer. I don't know, I just feel like they're perhaps still a little bit too beefy. I'm not really sure how you'd fix that without unbalancing the proper arena stuff, though. I don't know, you know what, battlegrounds are kind of weird sometimes with balance, and the fact that one team could have 4 healers and the other team could have 1. I was in a battleground like that a while back. Basically, none of the enemy team died, and we all died in a slow war of attrition. It was not very fun. Anyway, so the final bit of actual proper meaty news is the Blizzard store. Basically, the physical item store is back. You can find this at gear.blizzard.com, and they do have some really cool stuff, including some of the BlizzCon items like the Circling Plush. I can personally recommend the BlizzCon Diablo 3 poster. I've got one framed in my room, and it looks fantastic, though finding a frame that fits it exactly was oddly hard. Anyway, so I'm also sure that I can also recommend the Lower Walker Cho action figure if it's still there, because it's not really an action figure, it's basically just a really cool statue, and it cost $40 when I got it. Considering how big the damn thing is, it really is worth it. I'm not sure about the other action figures though, but just from looking at YouTube, they actually look kind of cool, but more as statues. I'm not really interested in action figures or anything like that. I don't know, items like that to me are essentially another form of art that I would use to enhance what a room looks like. As an example, I have a Warhammer hanging in my room, not because I plan on going out and using it, but because it looks kinda cool. Anyway, so let's just finish off today's show with some stuff from Twitter. I'm sorry that it's not very long, it's basically just that there's not much news today, and also I'm kind of busy. I only woke up about an hour and a half before a lecture, so I don't know, I probably won't even get this video done in that time frame. Whatever. Now, first of all, we have a tweet from Celestian. He said that they actually could, for example, make Shockwave, Dragon Roar, and Bladestorm all share the same button. Now, this would basically mean that no matter what talent in that tier you have, the button is just good for all of them. This would be fantastically handy. It means there's less tweaking around of your hotbars and different things like that, which means that the system, or at least the talent system, feels a little bit more flexible, which is exactly what they're going for. Overall, I think this would be really nice, so yeah, go ahead and do that. It always is a bit of a pain when you switch your talents, and it just makes sense that that Bladestorm should turn into a Shockwave, as an example, because they're the same talent here. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's something they should do, so that would be nice. Of course, no ETAs, and it was just an off-the-cuff comment, but I thought it was worth highlighting. Okay, so next we have a tweet from Helinka, and he said that they are actually doing a lot of work to the Arena MMR system, and a lot of this is going to be seen in patch 5.4.7. Basically, they want to fix some different issues and exploits, particularly just including some of the higher MMR stuff. Now, I don't actually know what any of these issues or exploits are because I'm not a major Arena person, but honestly, I doubt they're actually going to say what sort of changes they're making, because often with something like this, it's best to just stealth fix the problem and not give people any extra information that could lead to them trying to find other workarounds and issues quicker than they otherwise could. Overall, though, a good change. An MMR system only works when it is, of course, fully working, so when there's issues and bugs with that system, it just throws the kind of difficulty curve of the different MMRs completely off whack, and it just leads to really strange matchmaking and things like that. I don't think this is a ginormous, major problem, but it still is an issue, so it's nice that they're doing that. Next, we have a tweet from Lore. He said that they're going to be making some of the Warlords of Draenor enchantments a little bit less flashy, and that a button to hide enchantments is on the list soon. No, not soon. It's on the list sometime in the future. That probably means not within Warlords of Draenor or maybe the first patch. Now, why would they do this? Well, I think one of the really good examples is daggers. Often when a dagger is enchanted, it's glowing so much that you can't even see the damn dagger. So that's a bit of an issue. Making them a bit less flashy is okay. I still like it. I do like enchantments. I think they look cool in weapons, so I wouldn't want them to make it just completely, nearly non-visible. So I think ultimately the best option is just that button, which can toggle between the two. And then finally, for today's show, we have a tweet from Chris Robertson, and he said that he's determined to make quivers happen. As a hunter, that makes me very happy. I'd love them for Warlords of Draenor, but they just look really cool, and I think there was even quivers in the Mists of Pandaria beta, and they looked really cool, so why? Just make them happen. It doesn't make any sense with us pulling arrows out of nowhere. There's also a guy who left a comment on one of the videos a while back saying just about the bowstrings, and I never really noticed it, but then once I started looking at the bowstrings on our bows, they're basically just like a few pixel thick line that's black. They look awful. So yeah, I think they should really fix bowstrings and make them look a little bit nicer. Then Chris also said that he liked the idea of a visible backpack, and this was after someone linked him a picture of what it could possibly look like. I've got to say, it looks kind of cool. I like the idea of maybe held offhand things like sigils, just kind of hang on a character's belt. Maybe, I don't know, potions and things like that on a belt. Various items like that which add flavor. Of course, they could just be there via toggles, so you could toggle them on and off, which makes sense. But yeah, overall, the more customization, the better. It is an RPG after all, and you want your character to be as much a reflection of yourself, or I don't know, whatever you want it to look like as is possible. Anyway, that's it for today's show. Sorry I was kind of incoherent. I got up basically just before I made this, so yeah, tired me. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I will see you next time.